Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who Big Finish review. In today's Doctor Who Big Finish review I'm taking a look at another early adventure, the second story in the 7th series of early adventures, which is The Secrets of Det Sen. I have reviewed the first story in the early adventures after the Daleks. I'll leave a little casting there and a link in the description below to that review so you can check out my thoughts on that story. So we're taking a look at the prequel to The Abominable Snowmen and the first full-cast adventure featuring Dodo. And one thing that's lovely about this release, before you listen to it, there is a nice little tribute thing saying this is in memory of Jackie Lane, which is a really lovely touch. So without further ado, let's dive into The Secrets of Det Sen. The Secrets of Det Sen. Out of the two Series 7 early adventures, this was the one I was most excited about, mainly to hear Dodo in a full cast adventure, as I think I've only listened to one Dodo Big Finish story, which I think was The War to End All Wars, which is a wonderful companion chronicle. So this is what I mean about 2021 Big Finish being incredibly exciting. On the surface level, we're all buzzing for Christopher Eccleston and Dalek Universe, but if we dive deeper into 2021 Big Finish, it's delving into areas of Doctor Who that they've hardly touched, from the Third Doctor Adventures, getting a full cast Season 7 and Season 11 story, and also the beginning of the War Doctor. Now we can add some full cast Dodo to that list, and another reason I was intrigued about this story was it being a prequel to The Abominable Snowmen. So what did I make of The Secrets of Det Sen? Well, I really enjoyed this adventure. It's a shame that this story was released in August, as I think this is an ideal winter's night listen, because it is just perfect for that time of year, especially in December, because it's got a great sort of wintry feel. Part 1. Now Part 1 is a great introduction to this tale, with world building the Himalayas, with a great addition of the narration, which really helps you visualise this landscape. With the narration, to me, gives this story sort of the Target book sort of feel, and sort of mixed in with the Missing Episode soundtrack feel. So the Doctor, Dodo and Stephen arrive on the Himalayas, where they encounter a real-life Yeti, or as the Tibetans call it, the Mitukanu. So we have the real-life Abominable Snowmen, and the way the TARDIS crew is introduced is nothing but authentic to the 1960s. It's just pure, authentic 60s Doctor Who. So the TARDIS crew bump into a group of pilgrims travelling to the Det Sen Monastery, so this part really allows us to get to know the supporting characters as they share food and shelter. And this reminds me very much of Marco Polo, as a group of people the Doctor and crew sort of tag along with. And along that we sort of are introduced to the main supporting characters of Odianu, who is this very wise, young, calming character. He plays a very interesting role within the story, as we have him and the Doctor sat around a campfire talking about their beliefs, with the Doctor mentioning the old hermit from the Time Monster, and how the Doctor's beliefs are similar to the Buddhists, which I think is a nice little nod to Planet of the Spiders, but I think is a great little sort of nod to the great Barry Letts as well, because he's renowned for being very much of a similar belief, which I think is wonderful. So I like to think that's a nice little nod to Barry Letts. So with this story, you really do get deep and meaningful character moments throughout, and Stephen, on the other hand, does get a bit of a love interest in the form of Pima, who is a lovely, sweet, endearing character with her own mission for medicine to save her father. Now this story does bring up the idea of Stephen getting ready to leave the Doctor's world behind him. And also you get that with Dodo, that Dodo sort of has a sort of sense of care and duty for the Doctor, to look after him. So I think that it's quite an interesting thing to bring up within this story, because the TV show, especially with Dodo, didn't really hint of Dodo's departure. You know, the War Machines was such an abrupt ending for Dodo's character. It's nice to see that this story sort of plants the seed for that. One thing I will say about The Secret of Det Sen is that it is a bit of a slow burner, and I don't mean this in a negative way, as the story never feels dull. You just really enjoy the ride, and this isn't going to be plain sailing for the Doctor and crew and the pilgrims, because there are bandits following them in the shadows. Part 2 is very much exploring the monastery of Det Sen, and we learn more about the culture and the beliefs of the monastery itself, which is wonderful, and it's just again full of great character moments. You know, we even have sort of the chanting from Planet of the Spiders, but no spiders materialise within this. However, we do get a nice reference to the Mara, and we learn more about the holy relics and what secret is Odianu hiding. So this is a very interesting part, a great one for character, and again continues that sort of great world building what was set up, but the world building from sort of the outside of the Himalayas is now focused in the actual Det Sen monastery. Part 3 is a thrilling, tense part, as the bandits have come to attack the monastery and plunder the treasures, allowing Stephen to be the action hero, and also the first Doctor gets a bit of action with him sort of fending off the bandits with his walking stick, which is, you know, classic First Doctor. He did it in the Dalek Invasion of Earth and the Reign of Terror, and of course the Romans, so it's great to see that sort of feisty First Doctor having a good old knees up and punch up, which is wonderful, I guess, to have on audio. And Peter Purves, like as always, does a wonderful job voicing the Doctor within this story. Now, part 3 and 4, I will say, is wonderful for Dodo, as she's sent to get help. So while we talk about Dodo, let's talk about Lauren Cornelius, who is sort of a regular to Big Finish. She's voiced Ivy from The Creeping Death, a 10th Doctor adventure, which I think is wonderful, and a 4th Doctor adventure, Planet of Witches, which is a great story as well. I think that she does a terrific job bringing Dodo to life, and Dodo's accent changes throughout each sort of First Doctor story, and it's nice that Big Finish have gone, okay, we're going to stick with this accent. And I think that Lauren Cornelius really brings that sort of inquisitive, curious nature of Dodo to life, and that she's just diving into each situation, you know, without a hesitation. And you know, she's gets some wonderful moments with the Yeti, with her sort of calming them down with a great little sing-song, which I think is great. You know, and I think that this story really allows Dodo to shine and show the potential of Dodo as a companion. I think that Lauren Cornelius really got to grips with what Dodo is as a character, and I think that this is wonderful. Now, the Yeti are great because we have Dodo basically save the day with the Yeti, and let's say the bandits sort of have a bit of a gruesome ending with the Yeti, which causes for some really horrific sound design, which sort of gets rid of the sort of fluffiness of 60s Doctor and makes it a bit more nitty gritty, I guess. As part 4, like I say, is very much taking back control of the monastery and sort of showing the wiriness of the First Doctor and his sort of cunningness to outsmart the bandits, while Dodo brings in sort of reinforcements, as it were, with the Yeti. So I think that's really great. So we have the First Doctor take the Holy Gantra and sort of keep it for safekeeping, which is really great. And this sort of explains where Detsen Monastery is in the Abominable Snowmen, the introduction of warrior monks, and this sort of shows the change, the sort of catalyst for the monastery to change and become something different as Odiana embraces his true destiny. And that's all I'm going to say on Odiana, because he's a very, very interesting and very good supporting character within this story. So what are my overall thoughts on The Secret of Detsen? Though a slow burner, I really enjoyed this adventure. It has a great warm 60s charm, beautiful world building enhanced by the narration, incredibly well-rounded supporting characters, and character themes like Stephen and Dodo think about time to move on, what was missing from the TV show. The real life Yeti are make for a nice little spin, and I will say part 4 is one chunky episode with it being 40 minutes, which is crazy, but it doesn't feel like a slog at all. It's just a really enjoyable listen. So you're definitely getting your value for money with episode 4. And one thing about this release is the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, the more I love it. There's just something about it what I just really enjoy. I can definitely see myself revisiting this story in the winter to sort of enhance the full enjoyment factor of this story being set in December. So I think that this is a wonderful addition to the Early Adventures catalogue. I had a lot of fun listening to it. I think that it's a great story and I highly recommend it. I think that it's a great introduction for Dodo. Peter Purves does a wonderful job voicing Stephen and the Doctor. Again, Odiana, great character, and Pem as well, wonderful characters. And Dodo really does shine within this story, and if you're not a fan of Dodo, then this story will definitely change your mind, because Dodo's just a sweet, inquisitive character, and I really like what Lauren Cornelius is doing with Dodo, and I can't wait to hear more of Big Finish's plans with Dodo, because I'm sure we'll have more Dodo adventures in the future. So I'm going to give The Secrets of Detsen a well-deserved, I was thinking an 8 out of 10, but the more I talk about it, the more I just love it. I think that it is just a wonderful little First Doctor story, so I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I just really enjoyed it. It was just a fun little listen, and just one that it is a slow burner, but I just really enjoyed the ride the story went on. So I'm going to give The Secret of Detsen a well-deserved 8.5 out of 10. So thank you very much for watching this review. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe for more Big Finish related content. There's plenty more on the channel, and there's plenty more in the near future. So thank you very much everyone, and I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who related content. Bye bye!